Ford Focus 2012 through 2018. Here are my recommended maintenance intervals, as well as preventative maintenance intervals. Every 5,000 miles, go ahead and change your oil and filter. I personally use a full synthetic, but synthetic blend is fine. Check your tire pressures at the same time. Peek into the wheels, make sure you got some meat left on the pads. Tire should have some tread left on it. Check for inner edge wear. None. Change your engine air filter and cabin air filter every 30,000 miles. Change your spark plugs every 60 to 80,000 miles. The transmission fluid is easy enough to change. Might as well do it every 30 to 60,000 miles to prolong the life of the bearings and the synchronizers. I've got videos on how to do all this stuff. I'll link them in the description below later on today. I'll say every 70 to 100,000 miles, I would change the coolant. I have a video for that. When you change the coolant, you might as well put a new Ford OEM degas bottle on it. These are really bad about developing cracks and leaking. This one, I believe, is leaking as well. Yeah, this one's bad. The aftermarket degas bottles are known for poor manufacturing. These holes are too large and it'll cause pressure loss and overheating. And honestly, I would say every 5 years or 60,000 miles, get a new engine mount. This upper engine mount here, you can get an insert for under $20, and I have a video on how to replace the insert, the bushing on it. Can't get the best picture of it, but as you can see, these are really bad about wearing out, and the bushing will drop down there and it contacts the lower part of the bracket for the mount. It'll cause a lot of vibration. When you put a new engine mount on there, it's going to feel like a new car again. Every 90 to 120,000 miles, I know that's a bit of a range there, but preventative maintenance, I would replace the water pump and both of the belts at the same time. The water pumps are failure prone on these. It's not widespread, but it's something I've had on my own personal Focuses happen as well, multiple times. And once again on preventative maintenance here, every 150,000 miles or so, might as well put a new OEM purge valve on as well. They are very issue prone. Every time you change the oil, just come back here, take a quick peek right here, look for moist wetness around the heater hoses. There actually looks like there is a little bit of moistness here, so the O-rings inside of these connectors are issue prone. You have a few options there. I'll go over them really quickly. Replace both hoses. That's the first option there. The second option would be to get a 90-degree pick and pull the O-rings out and try to find some that match. Third option would be to pull those off, cut the hoses right here, and use a worm clamp and slide it on without this connector on. Just cut it right here and put it on like that. Do not over tighten the clamp, as you can bend the fittings on the heater core. Whenever you're changing the spark plugs, look into the spark plug wells. Make sure there's no oil in the spark plug wells. That would mean you need a valve cover gasket. That's a common issue on these. Every couple of oil changes, I would put a good quality fuel injector, fuel system cleaner in. Possibly even something like CataClean, because these catalytic converters are issue prone. They lose efficiency over time, and I would say 2 out of 3 or more Focuses with over 100,000 miles will have a P0420, P0420 code set. Make sure you have a battery hold down, because if the battery is moving around, it can cause accelerated wear and damage to the battery. Make sure your positive battery cable is flexible. If it's hard, that means there's corrosion inside of it. That's a common issue. If you're replacing this battery cable, which I have a video for, replace that 50 amp fuse all the way at the end in here. It's included in that video. That's a very issue prone fuse. I would also, every 100,000 miles, come through and clean the grounds, this ground, and then the two underneath the airbox. I have a video for that called TCM ground cleaning. The upstream O2 sensor is issue prone. However, I wouldn't worry about it until it sets a check engine light. You may go for a very long time without an issue out of it. That just about covers everything there. I would just keep an eye out for any coolant leaks. Make sure you don't let the engine overheat. Besides the transmission, you don't normally see many issues out of these. It's just stuff to keep an eye out for in order to keep this thing running forever. These are very reliable engines. And I would say at least, once a month, get out on the highway, drive it hard a few times to scrub the clutch and get rid of keep the shudder mitigated from the clutch shudder on the automatic dual clutch transmission, particularly if you do a lot of stop and go type driving. Just drive it hard once in a while. So one last thing I can mention here, once in a while, just come through and look at your cowl. Reason being is if it can have water seep past it and get into the bell housing and cause rust to the clutch. So just once in a while, make sure you have the weather strip across here. This one's missing. And make sure your cowl is fully seated in the windshield. This one is. And make sure you got your pins in here. So, yeah, that's loose. That's not the right bolt there either. That should be a Torx 30. Alright guys, I hope this was helpful to you. Have a great day, enjoy your Focus, and happy driving.